You guys hear that music? That means we are back. It is the Baby Faces podcast on iHeartRadio, powered by 97.5 WAMZ and our sister station in Lexington, Kentucky, 98.1 The Bull. It is our first podcast of 2024. That means we are back. I am Austin. I'm with my co-host, Billy the Kid. Billy, what's up, man? Happy 2024. How you doing, brother?
Yes, sir. Doing great. Big episode to start the year for us as we have WWE Superstar Ricochet joining the show today ahead of Raw taking over the Rupp Arena here in February. You can find all the details for that show on our website, WBUL.com. But Ricochet joining the show, man. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
No, it's not a problem at all, guys. Thank you so much. It's really not a problem. It's going to be fun.
We were talking before we started the podcast. You have a lot of ties to Kentucky. You lived for a while in Paducah, Kentucky, so kind of a little bit of a homecoming, really. Right? As you come to Lexington. So, what can the fans in Lexington expect? They come out to Raw in February.
I mean, for one, me, at least.
Come on now.
That's just the minimum, you know what I mean? At least me. But no, I mean, again, expect everything that you see on television. Again, when you watch it on television, it's awesome. You get everything that you want, and it's the reason why it's the longest running episodic television show ever, because it's that fun and amazing. But when you go, it's just Monday Night Raw live. It's crazy. You go, you got the pyro, you got the fans, you got the electricity, you got the superstars. It's just a perfect mixture for just the best night ever.
That's one thing that we always kind of like to stress here on this show, because there's not a lot of people that have necessarily been out to WWE shows in the past, and it's so much different when you go, Ricochet. I mean, just like it's so much different seeing the stuff that you do on TV. It's amazing, like when you go up and do backflips and stuff, but seeing that in person is just so much different. We mentioned the first episode of 2024, one of our biggest, most accomplished guests that we have on here, former Intercontinental Championship. I mean, I bet you're kind of wishing that last year kind of went on a little bit longer. You had one hell of a year with first going viral with the Logan Paul thing at the Royal Rumble, and then you had a big tag team run with Braun Strowman. Had a great match at Wrestlemania. Actually, I attended Wrestlemania. My guy Nick, shout out Nick, he said that was the most entertaining match there. He absolutely loved your guys' match. So
honestly, man, that match, to touch on that match was so much fun, and I know that leading up to it, everyone was like, "Oh, there's a match. It's thrown together." Everyone was saying what they needed to say. I know, I saw it, I heard it, I know it, but we were like, and we all heard it. Everybody in that match was like, "All right, bet, watch to see."
Yeah,
and
he came up
man,
to me and he's
like,
it
was so much fun. That whole thing was so much fun.
Well, that's what he said. He said those big dudes, and he's like, that dude Ricochet got up on the guy's shoulders, and I'm like, yeah. It's pretty incredible. So how do you plan to capitalize this year? I mean, they gave you a big vote of confidence last year with all your programs and highlighted you really well on the Raw program. What's next for Ricochet in 2024?
Man, I mean, just to keep the momentum going, to keep the train going. You know what I mean? I think that's everybody's goal. And I was talking earlier today, and just now more than ever, everybody from top to bottom, from Akira Tozawa to Roman Reigns, you know what I mean? And everyone that falls in between is the most talented and capable person to make whatever their goals possible. Everybody is. So if Apollo Crews wants to be Intercontinental Champion this year, it's probably going to be hard to stop him. If somebody, I feel like now it's so hard. So I think everybody's just trying to keep it going. And even you see it now with the CM Punks and the Drews and everybody, they're trying to keep their momentum going, because 2023 ended, but 2024 just started, and there's no reason that because that year ended, that our momentum needs to slow down. So my goal is to keep this train going.
Hey, no better time to
Royal
keep
Rumble's coming
going.
right up. Royal Rumble's coming up soon.
Perfect transition, right? It's no secret that it's an exciting time in wrestling as we head into WrestleMania season, which starts with the Rumble coming up here in a few weeks. So, what is the buzz like in the locker room around this time of year? Because obviously with us fans, like we're getting hyped. We're over here fantasy booking, thinking about, what could be main event WrestleMania, who's a contender in the Rumble. What is the buzz like in the locker room?
Man, the Royal Rumble, I think, again, because a lot of us, when we were younger, we watched the Royal Rumbles as one of our favorite, pay-per-views at the time. And so every year when it comes up, our energy starts to get a little flowing, our excitement starts to get, a little, crank it up to, 11, just because of what it means, what the Royal Rumble means and everything and all the opportunities that it can present. Because obviously main event WrestleMania, title issue, all of that. But then not only that, but the individual accolades within the Royal Rumble now. You know what I mean? Most eliminations, longest time, shortest time. So there's so much that the Royal Rumble offers, and we're getting close, and New Year's up. All our excitement just starts to crank up to 100.
I've always been fascinated with Ricochet, with how the Royal Rumble works and how it's laid out. Me and Billy were actually invited and went a couple years ago when the WWE came to St. Louis, and it's fascinating. Yeah. It's so fun to see that happen just in person. As a performer, I mean, I can only imagine what it's like just going out there during a regular match and just having a fun moment. You obviously had that viral moment with Logan Paul last year at the Royal Rumble, and does it feel like just like another match when you're out there? If the ring's a little bit crowded, I know you guys kind of have to watch your spots a little bit, but what's the anxiety like?
No, it does not feel like just another match. It's chaos. It literally is chaos. Because in one corner you have guys trying to throw each other out, and in another corner you have two guys who are trying to, beat up on your best friend or something. And then in this corner, there's so much going on. And then someone's trying to throw you out in the process. There's so much going on. It really is chaos. It's the only word I can think of.
It's fun. It's fun.
But man, again, that's what I said, cool heads prevail, because in that chaos, you have to stay cool. You have to stay calm. You have to stay collected. Or you can just be Brock Lesnar. There's like two things, you know what I mean? There's two things that work.
Well, Ricochet, you have to watch yourself. You're the high flyer, so you got to watch yourself on those ropes, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So like a lot of my arsenal gets taken away. So I have to, I'm more of a counter puncher in the Royal Rumble. I got a counter punch. So the Royal Rumble's wild.
I mean, that's what always amazes me is the close calls where guys are, skin the cat to get back in the ring. I'm like, if that goes wrong, hopefully that's not, the winner of the match ends up. I remember Kofi Kingston had kind of a little bit of a botch on his amazing kind of, getting back in the ring finishes. But yeah, that was tough. And then the infamous Cena and Batista ending in 2005. Oh man, I can't even imagine being in that position. Crazy.
What a moment. Just now thinking of all of that. What a segment in time. What a segment in time. What Absolutely. A wild moment. Yeah, but that's just who knows what's gonna happen. Who knows? We don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, Austin mentioned your high-flying style. I don't think that's any secret to our fans that you have a very, exciting, electrifying style in the ring. How do you kind of, they say, right? How do you kind of, balance though, kind of protecting your body and doing those dangerous stunts in the ring that you do? Because obviously longevity is a huge thing in wrestling.
I mean, do you guys remember? I think it was I want to say The Dark Knight. I don't know if it was The Dark Knight. It had to be the second one.
One of my favorite movies.
Where, Bruce is like taking off his stuff and he's like all bruised up. Mm-hmm. And Albert, he's like, sir, he's like, you got to stop. You got to slow down. You can't keep doing this. And he's like, Batman can't stop. He's like, Batman can't, and that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, Ricochet can't stop. You got to keep going. You know what I mean? And I think just pushing that boundary, pushing the limit and breaking those limits that I feel like have been put on a high flyer of, like within the world of just wrestling in general. So I feel like, man, like what Rey Mysterio has done, before me and AJ Styles and those guys, I feel like breaking those limits and really accomplishing what you set out to accomplish is phenomenal. And that's kind of what keeps me going. That's kind of what it is, really.
You mentioned right there, Rey Mysterio. I've heard you in other interviews, Ricochet, where you've kind of talked about that's like a dream match for you. And he's even bestowed the honor upon you, saying that Eddie Guerrero would have loved to have worked with you. And what is someone like you? How does someone like you take that? You know, like just hearing that from your idol, someone like Rey Mysterio, and a guy who you're fairly work rate, you know, similar wise. Everyone's you're very exciting. You have the high flying, high risk. What's it like, kind of being under the wing of someone like that, Rey Mysterio, and hearing those words about another legend like Eddie Guerrero?
No, I mean absolutely. Because again, everyone knows how close they were. Everyone knows their relationship. So to hear that, you don't take that for granted. You do not take that lightly. Again, even the first time I remember meeting Ray, like he just seems like not real. You know, it's so funny. But to be able to now kind of be someone I would call a friend is just phenomenal to show. Again, what I say, like breaking those limits, breaking those barriers that may have been put on you, whether it's yourself or society. Again, I'm from Paducah, Kentucky.
Shout out Paducah.
Shout out Paducah. I never would have thought, now that, you know, almost 21 years later, Rey Mysterio is considered a friend of mine and who can counsel me and give me guidance on what it took for him to get where he's at. Man, it's amazing to be here in this position and to hopefully do that for someone, you know, anybody in need, anybody who, you know, needs some help. Hopefully be able to, you know, take it forward. It's great, man. It's really awesome.
Now,
we are talking to WWE Superstar Rick.
Oh, my bad.
Our screen's a little messed up right now.
That must have been a delay. Go ahead, Billy. Sorry about that.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're talking to WWE Superstar Ricochet, who you could see at Monday Night Raw coming to Rupp Arena in February. A couple more questions. We'll send you on your way, Ricochet. Appreciate you taking the time again. But, you know, we mentioned WrestleMania season is upon us. And I always like to ask wrestlers, you know, WrestleMania is really kind of what made me fall in love with wrestling. I imagine it's a lot of the same for current wrestlers too when they were growing up. What's your favorite WrestleMania moment? What's the moment that you watch that you're like, man, I got to be on that stage one day?
I mean, honestly, I feel like for me, the first one, there's so many, but the one that you've asked specifically, sorry, to answer that question specifically, I feel like it would have had to have been like maybe WrestleMania 15, Rock Austin. I think that's when I maybe started thinking about like, not like, oh, I want to do this, but like, I think, man, like, wouldn't it be cool to be there? I guess. I don't know. I think because before that, I didn't really think about it, but seeing that, I think made me want to like, not do it. But again, I was so young at the time, but I think that was the match that really kind of hooked me, I think. Just leading up to it. But I think, yeah, that one would be the one that kind of got me, I feel.
It was a pretty fun WrestleMania. That was what I grew up with, WrestleMania. When you talk about Attitude Era and just kind of thrash in your face television, and that was just kicking off one of the best rivalries ever. Ricochet, once again, you guys are listening to the Baby Faces podcast on iHeartRadio, 97.5 WAMZ, 98.1 The Bull. We had WWE Superstar Ricochet on. One more question, we'll get you on your way. You guys had just posted, and now it's no secret that you're engaged to Smantha Irvin. The lovely ring announcer does a wonderful job. And another power couple, Bianca Belair and friend of the show, Montex Ford. You guys are seen out hanging out on New Year's Eve. What was that like when the four of you hit the town? Was that just kind of like a meetup thing? Was this like a WWE holiday party, like a company thing? Or
no, this was just I guess four people, you know, two couples getting together to have you know, some time together. I think they had a show in LA on Saturday.
Lovely.
I think they had an LA show. We were in Canada. Actually, I came home on Saturday, so luckily I had the day off. But they had a live event in LA, and I think they drove Saturday after the show. So yeah, for New Year's, we all, you know, they came back to Vegas, and we all just kind of you know, just had a little night out. We went to go see Bruno Mars. It was awesome.
Nice.
He's amazing.
couple months ago for a festival. It's an amazing show. Amazing.
Yeah,
show.
it was everything that I thought it was going to be. Like when I said I want to go see Bruno Mars, and it's funny because when we first got together, Sam and I talked to her about just how much I like to listen to his music. He's awesome. Bruno's awesome. So he's a good time. He's a party, and I knew it would be a good New Year's show. And we were actually going to go see Chris Brown, but then I think everyone changed. I think Bruno was more of a New Year's.
Sure, yeah, a little 24 karat magic, right? 2024 karat magic. That's right. You're kicking off 24 with the baby faces and special guest Ricochet, dude. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're so excited to see you when you guys come to Rupp Arena. It's going down February, a couple days before a Valentine's Day. So if you guys are kind of looking out and don't know what to do, you might want to take your little lady out to the show. It's a fun time. Ricochet, thank you so much for coming on, boss.
No problem. Thank you guys so much. This was awesome.